Alright everybody, I'm going to be doing my court case today for you, and my court case is Zivotofsky v. Kerry, which took place in 2014, and I'm going to be going through some background information real quick just to get you all caught up. And so the issue here is that Menahem Zivotofsky was born in Jerusalem to United States citizen parents in 2002. And when the parents and the child were attempting to come back to the United States, they asked the State Department record his place of birth on his passport as Israel. However, the department refused to meet this request and instead issued Menahem a passport that listed Jerusalem as his place of birth. And this was done because of the Foreign Relations Act, particularly Section 214 of the Act, which is the United States policy with respect to Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, as it has been for decades now through past presidents and administrations, that the United States does not recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and they don't recognize that Israel belongs to anybody in particular. And that is why they listed Jerusalem as the U.S. policy. So the constitutional question here is, does a federal statute that directs the Secretary of State to record the birthplace of an American citizen born in Jerusalem as Israel, if requested to do so, impermissibly infringe on the president's power to recognize foreign states? As in the Constitution, one of the powers of the president is that of recognizing foreign sovereignty of states and countries, and only the president has this power to recognize other countries, as the president is viewed as the voice of the nation. And the issue here is the State Department does not, along with the president, to recognize Jerusalem as its own sovereign state within that of Israel, which goes back to my point that the long-standing U.S. policy has been that Israel is not claimed by anyone in particular, as there are several groups that have laid claim to Israel and Jerusalem in particular, as that is a very religious symbol for many religions in the world. As this is the policy and statutes put in place not to recognize Jerusalem's sovereignty by allowing for the passport to list Jerusalem as the holder's place of birth, as that would be then, in the eyes of the courts, by the State Department and President, be recognizing Jerusalem as its own sovereign territory. So in effect, if they complied with the request of the parents, that they would be recognizing Jerusalem as its own territory instead of listing. And with the Foreign Relations Act and the policies put in place, they're not allowed to recognize Jerusalem as its own territory, as it is not to be claimed by anyone in particular. And then with the final ruling being writing for himself, Justice Kennedy summarize this is, the president can't be made by Congress to issue a statement that contradicts the earlier recognition. And the earlier recognition being that Israel is recognized, but Jerusalem is not recognized as its own sovereignty. And recently, in past years, with the Trump administration, in 2017, the Trump administration decided to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, which was very controversial. And actually, in a CNN poll conducted in December of 2017, 44% of Americans approved of this, and then 45% disapproved of this action by the president, while 11% were unsure or refused to answer on whether it was the right decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, as that is a very controversial topic. And to finish up, the Justice Kennedy said that the president is the one voice of the nation, and the nation must speak with one voice, and that the voice must be the president's because only the executive has the characteristic of unity at all times, as he was voted by the people, which means that Congress, they can't rule to allow or force the State Department to vote to put Israel as his birthplace. They were mandated by policy to keep Jerusalem as the place of birth. that only the president has the power to contradict this. But at the time of this court case, 2014, it was the Obama administration. So current policy back then was not to recognize Jerusalem as the capital or its own place. So this court case might have went differently if it was done today with the Trump administration in place right now. And that is my court case. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new and useful today. All right.